Greetings. Hey, it's Susie Q. We're working with the Akashic Records, moving into automatic writing. And of course, whenever we're looking at some of these energies, we know that something happened to bring forth an Akashic record for me. I'm an Akashic reader, been doing this for a number of years, and it was a spontaneous gift. I don't know if it's a gift or anyway, but this piece that I did was back in 2016, and there's three levels of connection with two different beings or souls that continually this is with three times that they're going to be connecting again with one another, continuing to get more guidance or more understanding. And so I'm super excited to share this. So I'm going to start right now, but there's going to be three different levels. The first one will be from a past life, or another type of parallel reality. The second one would be maybe like in this lifetime with a parallel reality. And then the third one might be another connection with those two beautiful souls, and they're really in spirit. And so all of these things are happening. It's always fun and challenging to look at perceptions and what it means, or what do I need to do? What do I need to know? Just know that when you're having experiences and you're kind of like wishing you could see somebody again or have another event with somebody, that's what starts showing up. That you're just I want to have another better connection with somebody who's already gone or who hasn't been here yet. So all of these things are magical, wonderful, and interesting. And some people are like, "But I don't know what you're talking about." But my Akashic Records comes in very succinctly, and I'm open and curious about these three different experiences of these two souls that continue to come together again and again and again. So, right. From a distance, she saw enormity in the sky. Winged one, reptilian by nature, flight in slow motion, veiled in scales, a horrific sight. She watched him draw closer. Between the mountain and the distance, and she at the foothills, the winged one flew directly to her. Eye to eye, she and the beast, time stood still. For a split second, eon or three. Quick as this occurred, winged one's eyes locked to hers, softened gaze, as the winged one's tail led the horrific beast back to the heart of the mountain. Not a blink of the eye or a moment of fear, a wondering of why, the dragon disappeared. The dragon's gigantic form became one with the mountain, not a sign or indication of what had just occurred. She at the foothills never dropped her gaze. Now looking only to the mountains in the distance, she knew her fate, or his fate, and remembered him still. All right. Whew. All right, so the second piece, so that was about the dragon and this young lady. And there was a connection, a deep connection. And first it was scare and fright, and then you realize that through the eyes and through the spirit and through the connection that there was something there for both of them. And in that case, he had to leave. He had to leave. All right, so we're going to go into the second one. This is the second time these two souls come together. And to me, it feels like it's somewhere in like New York, or New York City, or somewhere in that area is kind of what I was getting. And it's two people, they're together. I don't know if they're married or not, but they're together. And so we'll start with this one. This will be the second soul expression with these two beautiful souls. A time and a day passed into a new place. Party and laughter, food and wine, guests in their home. She goes to their bedroom. Two empty drawers on the floor. She goes to another room. Two more empty drawers. She just saw him, and he looked so happy. He said he was leaving and making plans for the two of them. He looked thinner than before. All right, so that's all I really had from my notes from the Akashic Records, is that they were in the middle of a party, and he said he needed to go someplace else. He was making some plans for the two of them, but eventually it was just him that had to leave. And those drawers were just reminding us of the emptiness of these experiences. From sometimes we look at the different rooms, what levels of rooms or what levels of consciousness that we're working with. And that's really all that I got. So it was a snippet of, I think, maybe a parallel life in this lifetime or something else. The third one is another energy that came in, and the way I look at it, it feels like that these energies are kind of in spirit, or they're not what we call human. It's a different level of some experience that may be spirit. It could be celestial. It could be other forms. We have other different kinds of energies on planet. It could be something like that. I can't really discern, but we're gonna go ahead and do the third one for these two divine beings. He was at the foothills of triangular depictions in the heat of the day. Egypt it was. And was it just a dream? Days turned to years, turned to eons or three. She received transmissions of just some discernible symbols and numbers that flashed at a breakneck speed. So with that one, there was it kind of felt like for me, back when I'm kind of like going back in time looking at this, is that there was some more information for me. So each one of these lifetimes, through the dragon, through the party and those drawers, the emptiness, finding sweet love, and like even with the dragon, they finally found that there was some commonality, and then knowing that the dragon had to go away. And then with the party, it was the same thing. It was like that connection and a sense of love, and then that person had to go away again. And on this one, this was kind of a different kind of way of looking at it. But I kind of feel like they might have been celestial beings or other kind of beings from other planetary schools. And I think that energy regarding the symbols and the numbers were put out there for me to consider it and see if there's anything else I need to know. But I think on that third one is that because they weren't in a form of what we call human, I think that that they'll be together. I think eventually they'll be together again with some of these transmissions. That's kind of what I get. I don't know. And also at the end, we're going to just kind of speak into this. How would she remember this flash of future coordinates for he, she, and dragon makes three? So when you're looking at time and space and different experiences, you kind of start like noticing that, well, how can maybe I want to have a connection with somebody that I've known before, or another experience, and how do we get the coordinates? And so I remember after I did that piece that I was like kind of like going, well, what coordinates do I need to do, or do I need to be, or would it just be the coordinates will show up, and then that's when I'll know. So all of these beautiful states of, I don't know, just these connections with the dragon and the girl, and then with the party, maybe somewhere and I think it feels like it was like kind of New York State. And then also with these entities that came through with symbols and numbers, and I guess some guidance at some level. And so all of these things right now are kind of conspiring, because you think, this is my life and this is all it is, and then you start kind of noticing, I think there's something different. I think there's something more for me to know, for me to understand. And I think through my Akashic Records, I just lean into that energy, and I just kind of, even like today when I was like thinking about doing this video, I was like, I'm just noticing there was 3 different lives, because it was 2016, so I really couldn't remember exactly what was going on. But But when we're looking at the different levels of consciousness with other beings or other souls that we've been with, sometimes we want to come back again, maybe for a review or for a deeper connection or more understanding, or what, getting more guidance about purpose with this being or this one. We want to get a little bit more guidance. But I think for myself, we're here in the earthly school, and for my goodness, I have the ability to do the Akashic Records. But what I really focus on is what I'm doing now. Any guidance I get from that loss of the dragon going into the mountain, and then that other loss with him, this young man, going away and not saying goodbye, and then finally reconnecting with what we call Egypt and with some of the symbology. And so that's been really kind of interesting and fascinating for me. So I really honor each one of you for the lives you've lived. And maybe you don't really resonate with that, or maybe that's where you've been all along, is that you might have had many different lives, many experiences, and many more remembrances of souls that have come before. So we'll see you soon, and namaste.